I never thought I'd see the day, but Trump supporters are actually regretting voting for Donald Trump.
Trump voters are not happy, with some now saying they regret voting for him.
I'm really scratching my head because I voted Republican and we're not seeing the positives come out of it.
If you initially voted for Trump and now regret your choice, I need to see you at the forefront of all of the efforts against him.
I think we need to talk about something that doesn't get said very often, and people don't like to admit this out loud either. And that is voter regret. I'm talking about the kind where someone will watch how things play out and then they'll slowly feel like maybe, just maybe, they didn't get what they thought that they were voting for. And we're seeing that a lot with Trump supporters today in 2026. And here's the truth about all of it, right? Every election is fueled by expectation, right? It is fueled by hope. It is fueled by frustration, promises, and I'm talking about like big promises too. People don't just vote for a candidate, okay? They are voting for a lifestyle. They're voting for a different future, a better economy, more stability, less chaos, and more opportunity at the end of the day. And in the moment, it may feel clear, it may feel good when your president that you vote for gets into office, and it feels justified, right? But governing isn't campaigning, okay? And reality doesn't really move at the speed of promises. So months can pass, hell, even years can pass, right? And for some people, something will start to shift. Maybe their situation hasn't really improved, right? Maybe things got more complicated. Maybe things got more expensive as time passed. Maybe the issues that they cared about didn't really get solved the way that they expected to. All right. And a big example of that is the, people getting deported. And hell, even some instances, maybe nothing can change at all. But that's where the regret really starts to form. It's not loud declaration, but it's like a quiet question, right? They will ask themselves, was this the right choice? And here's the part that no one talks about either. Most people do not say that out loud because admitting regret, especially publicly, it really comes with a cost, right? It can feel like admitting you were wrong. It can feel like letting go of your identity, because people do make voting for Trump their whole identity, if you haven't noticed, guys. And it can also feel like opening yourself up to criticism to the other party, right? They'll probably be like, oh no, we don't want you, blah, blah, blah. Like it's crazy. So instead, people will just stay quiet. They'll adjust their expectations, they'll rationalize, move the goalposts, and they'll just move on. And on the surface, it looks like nothing has really changed. But under all that, there is a growing gap between what people hoped for and what they were experiencing, okay? And that is such a big, like today's Americans that vote for Trump is such a big example of that. But at the end of the day, this doesn't really belong to one party or one election or just one group of voters, okay? This is, at the end of the day, is a pattern, okay? People vote for change, they expect impact, and when the reality doesn't match the vision, they'll internalize it. Not because they don't care, right? But it's because it's easier than confronting the idea that the system itself might be more complicated than any one candidate can fix, right? So the cycle's going to continue. New promises, new energy, new expectations, and eventually, for some people, the same quiet question will come back again. No matter who you vote for, that question could come back for some people, and that question is, did this actually make things better?
Do you guys remember this lady? Well, I'm trying not to laugh. This is her now.
It's been happening frequently at the 333 Miami Avenue Federal Court building. Janet Correa's husband was detained this week. According to her immigration lawyer, he has already been placed on expedite removal.
They voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump deport. You heard that right, guys. Janet Correa, the famous Trump singing lady, has had her husband detained by ICE. And not only that, but he got put on expedited removal. They want him out of the US. They don't want him. But of course, we've been telling them this all along. They don't want you, bro. Also, do you remember the time I went viral because I told people to call ICE on Latinos for Trump and the family members of Latinos for Trump? It looks like it's happening, and I couldn't be happier. You reap what you sow, and I stand by what I say. But anyways, play silly games, get silly prizes. Let me know what you guys think.
If you could say anything to President Trump now, what would you say?
I expected better from you. I really did. I expected that you would do what was right and cut waste and fraud and all of those things that you promised us before we elected you in office, but you're not doing that. You're creating a disaster, and I don't know what America's going to look like if this continues.
Did you ever think that your job would be impacted in a Trump administration?
No, absolutely not.
Jennifer Piggott was abruptly fired from her job at the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service here in Parkersburg, West Virginia, along with 124 other probationary employees. She voted for Donald Trump and thought her government job would be safe.
But to cut the knees out of the working class Americans just doesn't make sense to me. You know, it's what's the checking account look like, babe? We went through our list of items on our budget and said, what can we get rid of? And we've gotten rid of all of those things, including cable. I had my last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
On top of losing her job, Jennifer is facing backlash from both Democrats and Republicans for speaking out. She's received death threats and more.
Our home's been egged. You know, they've hacked my Instagram and posted horrible things about my deceased mother.
What do you love about Donald Trump?
I love the man. He's a real man, and I've been to 5 Trump rallies, and it just doesn't, we need him. This country needs him.
For what specifically? Like, what's the one thing when you say we need Donald Trump? What's the thing
He was an excellent leader. He made lots of changes that really got our country moving, and these Democrats are ruining our country. They're just hell-bent on turning this country into a communist country, and they're going to try socialism first, then it'll go to communism, and we can't have that.
Where do you see that you're talking about evidenced in the last few years?
Trying to go to socialism? Well, let me think about that, because there's lots of things, but...
So far in this interview, it's a standard release of generic talking points about how evil, scary, and socialist those libs are, and how Trump is the superhero that we all need to stop them. So time for the details that Trump never let them in on.
All the regulations, big government. The government just keeps getting bigger. Hiring IRS agents to go after we the people, we the taxpayers that work to support the lazy Democrats that refuse to work. And that's why we need Donald Trump. Everybody in this country needs to work if they're able.
Right, but our joblessness numbers now are quite low in this country.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I'm going off the metrics that we use for every president and every administration. The Department of Labor statistics say that we have very low unemployment now.
How can that be? How can that be when we have...
I'm not a labor expert, but I'm going off the numbers that we credit Trump and Clinton and...
illegal aliens in our country that are unaccounted for, and just because there's jobs out there, that's not Biden's doing.
I'm not saying. I'm just talking about the current state of affairs right now. Whatever presidency, whether it's like I said, Clinton or Reagan or Trump or Biden, we go off of Department of Labor statistics to say where the joblessness rate is, the unemployment rate, inflation, all of that. So right now we are in a good spot historically going by that metric. The one that we credited Donald Trump with is the one we now credit Joe Biden with. So I'm asking, what is it about this time that makes that different for you?
What has he done to improve our country? What has Joe Biden done to improve our country?
Well, Michael Shore did just mention the jobless numbers, but the only time you're allowed to mention jobs is when you're claiming that those scary migrants from the South are taking all of them. But let's get back to those specifics.
You can bring up the jobless thing, but our country is being destroyed.
Can you get more specific? So, I'm just asking because I have no horse in the race. I'm just asking what.
I was a Trump supporter. I don't know how long I can keep doing this. I have a construction company, and not a fucking thing is getting done. This is what I get. This is what I fucking get. Nothing but white boys. It takes 4 days to do a one-day job. I might have fucked up.
I find it so hilarious that Trump supporters are trying to tell us, oh my gosh, we regret our vote. We're sorry. It's too late. It's too late. What do you think? You think we were going to come with you guys in open arms and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. You see the light now. Let's be best friends. No. Y'all destroyed the country because y'all did not want to see a qualified woman be president. And now look where it's got you.
If you initially voted for Trump and now regret your choice, I need to see you at the forefront of all of the efforts against him. I need to see you showing up to protests, speaking about it, because you know what you did? You worked against all of the efforts that we put in to try and show everybody what the danger was. You tried to reverse all of that when you placed that vote, okay? So now you need to put in that work to try and help us. I'm not sitting here trying to make you feel bad, trying to put you down and shame you, okay? That's for another day. You can do that on your own time. My point here is, yes, you made a mistake, you did a bad thing, and now if you recognize that, it's time to take the step forward and help us fix it.
I'm in 2 weeks. I'm done. You want to talk about regretting your vote?
I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump, and I regret it now.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump.
I voted for Donald Trump, and now I regret it.
A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that.
I regret voting for Trump.
So deeply regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret voting for Trump.
I was a dumbass, voted for Trump. It was the worst decision I ever made.
I've seen the light, and I got out of MAGA. A lot of us there have seen the light. We have deep regrets.
I feel guilty because I voted for Trump twice. I feel very guilty because I feel responsible. That's why he's still running.
I was with Trump for 9 straight years. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Trump right now.
I'm really scratching my head because I voted Republican, and most of us in the fishing industry did, and we're not seeing the positives come out of it, why we voted that way.
Trump voters are not happy, with some now saying they regret voting for him. Trump's poll numbers have hit an all-time low since the Iran war began. The University of Massachusetts did a survey asking Trump voters if they completely regret voting for him now, if they had some concerns, or if they had mixed feelings about voting for him. In April of 2025, 75% of voters did not pick any of those choices and said that they were fully confident in their decision. But as of March 2026, that number has dropped to 52%. So only 52% of Trump voters are still confident in the decision that they made. They were then asked if they had a chance to go back to 2024 and cast their vote again, would they still vote for Donald Trump? And only 64% of Trump voters said that they would still vote for Donald Trump if they had a chance to go back and do it all over again. Obviously, this is his last possible term, but this shows that Trump supporters are waking up.
Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice, but honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was a nobody, and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
We spoke to Trump voters here in Florida who are ticked off about the fact that the gas prices in the state have gone up by an average of about 60 cents within just a week.
I would just wish he'd keep up on his campaign promise and say he was going to put it under $3. He'd end that war so fast, but here it is, 5 years later, helping his buddy out get his more money, and then never mind charging us Americans all sorts of money for fuel that you just stole from Venezuela.
And those gas prices are getting higher because of volatile oil prices due to the war in Iran, a war that these Trump voters tell us they hope wraps up quickly.
If I could, speak to the president, I'd just encourage him to finish up this war and get us back to a safe world.
He's saying about for our safety, leave somebody alone, they won't bother you.
Hopefully this conflict over there will end, it's just unfortunate.
And the overall vibe here at the gas pump amongst these Trump voters is they feel like the economy is not going well right now.
At the moment, I'm really out of work.
My hope is that it's temporary and it doesn't last for too long and oil prices come back down. That's my hope.
Yeah, I mean, who could have ever seen this coming except for everyone that was screaming at you that this is exactly what was going to happen?
What do you think is going to happen? You think we're going to be okay?
I hope so. Of course. I don't know.
Do you think about it?
I'm confused. I can't believe we went to this war. When we started bombing Iran, I was like, this can't be true.
And what about Lebanon now?
I know. Israel's invaded Lebanon. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, just stop. Like, what do you need?
Well, they're trying to, supposedly, they're trying to stop the terrorists.
Yeah, that's crazy, though, if you're the terrorist.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to stop them, stand in front of the mirror.
Yep.
And start there.
None of us even want to be right, for the record. This isn't fun. There is no amount of gloating that could ever make up for the suffering that is coming for all of us. And none of this was ever about pride or about wanting to be right. We were warning you because we saw exactly who he was and we knew exactly what he would do. And we knew because of everything he's ever done, you guys. What? Are you really this stupid? I mean, those two in particular, yes, they are. Unfortunately, for all of us, what's done is done, and it cannot be undone. And now we have to ride this out together. And there will not be a day in the coming years where we will know what's going to happen next. And perhaps that was always true in a way, but we are in the middle of a very chaotic cycle. And all we can really say and do now is batten down the hatches and prepare yourself. And I would also add, enjoy the sunshine and the things and the people that you love now. Don't wait.